Welcome. Salutations. It's your boy Stevie in Dallas. Welcome to the Loreverse Live podcast where we talk things Marvel, DC, Star Wars, and fantasy. We have a exciting docket for you guys today. We are obviously going to start off talking about Spider-Man, but then we got some Invincible stuff that we're going to get into and a bunch of other fun topics for you guys. Dallas, how are you today, man? What's popping?
Dude, my day is probably this is probably one of the greatest days ever. I got JJK, I got Invincible. I made money today. It just can't get any better than today, bro.
Yeah, man, it's been a great day. Yeah, peak. It's been a peak week for it's been a lot of peak out in general. Dune trailer, Spider-Man trailer, Invincible. It's just so much happening.
Peaky Blinders, bro. It's gonna be
Peaky
coming to
Blinders
streaming
comes out
soon.
on streaming tomorrow. It's a
Oh
pretty
my
big
god.
week.
Oh my goodness, dude. It doesn't get any better than
This is really a week of peak. It really is, bro.
that.
It really is a week of
Yeah.
peak.
Dune trailer.
That's what I say, bro. Yeah, and I've been rewatching that Dune trailer, man. That joint does something to you, man. It made me feel
Rewatching the
something.
trailer has to be sad, but it's okay.
You know what?
I said rewatching the trailer kind of sad, but it's okay.
How that said.
Don't you have like a more useful use? Don't you have like a more like productive use of your time?
We have a podcast where we talk about these things, so no.
That's fair.
Okay, so let's get to the first topic today, which is Spider-Man. Hold on one second, my dog is stupid. Sorry, my dog was tweaking. Okay,
Leave her
so
alone, though.
dude, she was just digging in my jacket. Like, bro, what's wrong with you? So the Spider-Man Burn the Day trailer dropped yesterday, and let's be honest, man, this trailer did a lot. Yeah, yesterday. Let's talk about the fact that it is the highest view trailer I'm pretty sure ever. 700 million views overall in one day. And we shouldn't honestly be surprised because as we talked about on Tuesday, right? This is the biggest character in anything. He's one of the biggest characters ever. It's just kind of insane how many. Spider-Man broke the internet. Yeah, I mean, let's just be real. The dude broke the internet. Spider-Man was everywhere. A lot of people are excited for Brand New Day. There's a lot of questions about Spider-Man Brand New Day, which makes you really excited. But yeah, it's been a really big day, a really big week for Spider-Man fans. And so yeah, I think the trailer was really good. I think the trailer did what it needed to do. Right, it gave us some really good scenes. And you could tell that they are hiding something. But overall, this is a really good trailer. We got a lot of Spider-Man. I mean, we got to see Frank Castle. We got to see the hand. Like, there's just so much going on in Spider-Man that as a fan and I wasn't really on the side where a lot of people were like, oh, like I want like grounded Spider-Man. I really wasn't on that side. I actually liked the MCU Spider-Man and how it embraced, the space stuff and all that. Like, I thought it was cool seeing Spider-Man in space stuff like that. But I understand why they are doing this rebirth of Spider-Man, where we are going back to a grounded street level Spider-Man, where he will deal with the Avengers and stuff. But when he has his own movies, they're going to focus on what's going on in New York. So I get it, and I really enjoyed it. I love the small little signs to say these things. Jean Grey. I am really interested in the way that they're handling Ned and MJ. I like what they're doing with MJ. Still so about Ned. But pretty much almost everything that has happened, even the use of Bruce Banner, Mark Ruffalo actually looks great. You know what I mean? And he looks like he's going to do a great job as Bruce Banner. It was honestly, Dallas, kind of weird seeing him as Bruce Banner, and maybe it's just because like in the past projects we've always seen him as a Hawk. It just felt weird. But
What?
but what?
What are you talking about? I feel like in those movies, I saw him more as Banner than I saw him as Hulk.
No,
I
but
feel
I'm
like
saying
we
like,
saw him more in
but I'm
Banner.
saying like in the past few projects, he's been just the Hawk. You know what I mean? Like, you know, or well, it's because I watched She-Hulk, which a lot of y'all did not, where he was like the Hawk the whole
Yeah,
time, pretty much.
you would
So
waste your time doing
yeah, but all in all, like it's just, but like it's Bruce Banner just fits this world right now. You know what I mean? He fits the Spider-Man world that he's in. And I think that Mark Ruffalo acts his best when he's in this role. The same way we saw him act this way in Thor Ragnarok. We are seeing a similar thing happen here in Spider-Man Brand Day, where he's that side character that's bringing that force and that grit and that action. And I think we're going to see a lot with the Hawk. Now, I wanted to correct something. Remember that cutscene where we saw Peter like fly off of the roof, and we all thought
that.
that was the Hawk? I actually do think I know what that is. So I think that's Peter Parker trying out his or trying out his organic webs, and I think that and it looks like the webs are so strong that he's having a hard time like controlling it. And we did talk about last week when we just got the clips how I said something similar to the tone of like, they're really going to power up Spider-Man in the brand new day. And I think a part of it is because he needs to be ready for Doomsday, obviously. But also it's this mutation thing that they have going on. And so that's that's what I think that scene is. I think he's trying to learn. I think he's trying to like re-ride the dragon again and try to learn, his powers because now his senses are kind of like doubled. You know what I mean? Even that scene when it's like, did you see that scene in the trailer where like a drop of water had him tweaking?
Yeah.
It's like he's relearning his powers again because they're heightened. So I think that's going to be very, very like interesting, and I'm excited to see how they handle that. I do have a few more things that I want to get into, but I want to hear kind of like what your review is of the trailer, some things that stood out to you, some questions you have, and kind of like where like what did you gather from the Spider-Man trailer?
So, quick question. You just mentioned Spider-Man needs to be ready for Doomsday. I didn't think he was gonna. I thought he wasn't gonna be in Doomsday.
Oh, I'm sorry, not Doomsday. Sorry, Secret Wars. My bad. Now
Um,
I think Spider-Man will pop up, but I think it'll be like a small cameo. But rumors were is that he did film some stuff, but I think it's more cameo work. Because I
mhm.
think I still think he's in something that's keeping him away. But sorry, keep going.
So I like the trailer. It's one of the few trailers that I've actually like watched and been like, this is like interesting. I will say my biggest critique of the trailer is that I saw way too much of MJ. Bro, I was really hoping that like she would get 5 seconds in this movie. I'm not gonna hold you. I was really hoping to be like, oh look, there's MJ. I'm sad that I can't be friends with her anymore. Moving on. Like that would have been like awesome, but it doesn't look like we're going to get that, unfortunately. But I think the action just looks really good. Like him fighting the hand, oh, that's gonna be peak, dude. And then like Mark Ruffalo, you already know how I feel about Mark Ruffalo. We made it very clear. Can't stand the guy, to be honest. But I've always liked Mark Ruffalo's acting as Hulk. I don't like MCU's Hulk. Right? That's not to say I like MCU's Hulk. MCU's Hulk is garbanzo beans. But Mark Ruffalo does a great job as Bruce Banner. And I think this is like you said when he's in Thor Ragnarok and he's in those side roles with like the dynamic character. He does an amazing job. I think that is 100% going to be what he is in this film. My another thing that I was interested in is like we didn't actually see Sadie Sink one time. It's very interesting that they like she was one of the biggest castings of like this movie, of the MCU really, and we don't see her at all in this trailer, which means
Yeah,
that
except
she
like
is the
her
big.
arms and legs is weird.
We saw her arms and legs. I don't even remember seeing that.
Okay, so don't you know that scene when like it's like in like a glass box and you see like somebody's leg come like show up in a chair that's facing, and then there's a scene of her locked in a chair wearing like a green jacket or something.
Interesting. And I think it's just interesting that they don't tell us anything about her at all whatsoever. And it is confirmed that she's playing Jean Grey, right?
The Hollywood trades did confirm that she is playing Jean Grey. Yes. Now,
Gotcha.
if the
So
Hollywood
it's
trades
just
are wrong, this is a bad situation because Hollywood trades go to Marvel and then you know, they tell you whether if it's true or not. So if the Hollywood trades are wrong, then they're frauds. But keep going.
it is interesting that like they just don't show her, which means that whoever's like Jean Grey, whatever Jean Grey is doing on this earth is the reason why like everything's happening the way it is, and probably the reason like she is probably the reason for the entire movie.
So you
Punisher
think
in
everything is like centered around her,
there's no
or like in
way
the
you
background?
there's no way you cast her, hype her up as this big signing, and then just don't show her in the trailer.
100%.
And then Punisher and Spider Man's dynamic. I heard a lot of people saying Punisher's going to hunt down Spider Man and all that. I never thought that was going to be the case. It looked like in the trailer they're working together. Um, and for whatever reasons, I don't know what that is. I don't know. Maybe I think Punisher hunting down hunting down Jean Grey, or I don't know what he's doing. Honestly, I don't know what Punisher's doing in this movie. But Scorpion looks good. I like the multiple villains. Oh my goodness, Spider Man has needed this. Spider-Man has needed this multiple villains because like if you're a street level criminal, street level fighter, sorry, street level hero, there's always something going on. It's New York. It's the biggest city. Like it's one of the biggest cities. Like there's always going to be something going down. For him to just be fighting Vulture, for him to just be fighting, I don't even remember some of the villains he fought. Like, that's how kind of mid the other movies were. I think the other movies are going to be so mid compared to this. Like they're just not going.
The other ones,
Huh?
like the other Spider-Mans.
No, his other Spider-Man movies, like Tom Holland Spider-Man movies, are all going to disappear in the face of this.
Like all of his old ones.
Yeah, and
I
honestly, they have to because like we need a new Spider-Man. We need like Spider-Man has needed a reboot since like they've decided to stick the same caricature of Spider-Man. It's not fun anymore. It's just not enjoyable anymore. How many more Andrew Garfield? How many more? What's the other guy's name?
Tobey Maguire's.
Tommy Guard do we need? Like we don't need that same archetype of Spider-Man. We don't. So, and this looks like something completely new. And honestly, we don't have to see Tom Holland's face that much. I'm hoping for that. And it didn't look like we were going to see that much of him in the trailer.
Yeah, yeah. So in regards to the Punisher, so the Punisher is apparently hunting down the Hand, and this is following the events of Daredevil Born Again, which will also link into the. So there's also a Punisher one-shot special that's dropping, I think, in April or May. It's like it's a Disney Plus special rated R of the Punisher, basically killing people and all that stuff, and that's going to apparently link to the Hand, and so we are going. So that's how we are possibly going to see why he's hunting the Hand, and I think the Hand first appears in Daredevil, then goes to his project. Now with like MJ, I understand that a lot of people don't want to see her as much, but this is just the reality. MJ is needed to Spider-Man like Lois Lane is to Superman, and I do like the dynamic because I think it is interesting where like MJ is like trying to find out who Spider-Man is, and I think it's like a play off of Doctor Strange's spell, which I think is going to play off of the multiverse situation. It's kind of like in the Wanda Vision show where when she put Westview under her spell, people would say certain things that would like track to them remembering the past, and then Wanda would cast a spell to make them like forget about it. You know what I mean? But like deep inside, they're tortured inside, and so what I think we're going to see throughout that movie is that MJ and Ned are inside being tortured by this spell. I think a lot of people are being tortured by this spell, and that like she's making that, you know, there's me small situations to where like they're like, yo, like I've seen you somewhere. Like, can you say that again? You know what I mean? I think we're just used to situations like that while she's trying to figure out if he's Spider-Man or not. But I do think at the end Spider-Man is going to lose because he always does lose at the end. That's kind of, you know, that's Spider-Man for you. I don't think he's going to get MJ back in this movie. And I do think there's going to be a slow burn, but also her boyfriend might be the answer to the weird multiversal thing that's going on because and I forget the name of the dude, but in the comics, her boyfriend was actually from another Earth in the comics, and so this might feed to the situation like there's something weird is going on, and you know this isn't the MCU New York, not like entirely. So yeah, but yes, I am very excited to see like what the Punisher does in Spider-Man, and also the Punisher is going to hunt Spider-Man if Spider-Man becomes a monster, you know, and this is where in my TikTok comments I've been getting pissed off at people and calling them idiots because the biggest problem right now is the man spider thing. A lot of people have been complaining about Peter Parker possibly becoming the man spider because look, in regards to this, you know, mutation as they call it, it can go either of two ways. Either one, they'll just stop it at the if they don't want to do too much, right? They'll just do the regular schmeller, right? Peter Parker's eyes will glow red, like we saw, and he'll you know turn like basically into Spider Kill mode. He'll just get super powerful and crash out, or they'll go all out and he'll grow 6 freaking arms, you know, out of his back, and he'll become the Man Spider. Now, just want to tell you guys, do you guys really think that they're going to let Spider-Man be the Man Spider in Avengers: Doomsday and Secret Wars? Dallas, do you think so?
No,
No,
I don't think so. But it would be freaking awesome if they did.
Yeah. Well, you were one of the only people that sadly think it is awesome. A lot of people have been hating on it, right? And the reality is that like when it comes to movies like this, obviously they usually solve the problem before the movie's over. You know what I mean? Definitely when you're leading into a movie like Avengers, there should be common sense to a lot of fans. This is obviously like for the one movie thing, the Man Spider, because we all know that most likely this next Spider-Man 5 is going to be about the symbiote. You know what I mean? And him meeting Gwen Stacy and doing his thing. So yeah, I don't think him and MJ are going to get back together in this movie. I think he's going to meet a new girl in this film, and I think he's going to spend the first half kind of pining for it, but then I think he's going to find something new. And I think that when he sees MJ with her guy, I think we're going to see a shift in Peter into looking elsewhere. And I think that, um, yeah, like the trailer is giving off that he's going to get them back, but I think that's on purpose, Dallas. And if we all know Spider-Man, right? He always loses. You know what I mean? Like he never truly wins in the end. And if they want to honor Spider-Man that way, then you slow burn us to MJ and Peter getting back together, which I wouldn't mind if the next movie, instead of like, his Harry or his Ned and MJ, he gets a Harry and Gwen, like and I hope that we get to see soft introduction of that. I've heard rumors that maybe Norman Osborn is funding all of these villains behind the scenes, like like the Scorpions and all that. Trying to build his underground like empire and all of those things. And even on the Norman Osborn topic, stretch Norman Osborn even further. Because if you guys don't know, in the comics, Norman Osborn actually got the Iron Patriot suit, and he became a freaking Avenger. And he had his own little, he actually, fun fact, he was a leader of the Thunderbolts in the comics. So I hope that like they do more with Norman Osborn than just being Green Goblin. But I do think like there's going to be little seeds, bro, of like that stuff being planted in this movie as well. Like I think what we saw is going to be, what we're going to see. But I think there's a lot more, than meets the eye with Spider-Man.
which is already like a lot to as it is. I mean, I've seen people online like talking about how it looks like it's going to be a bit of an overload. Like some people are like struggling to keep up, which already tells me where they are, brand casting wise. But I don't know if you can like if you can only keep up with one villain on the screen. Come on, dude. Like what?
Yeah,
Like
you got
seriously?
problems. I mean, you got problems. I mean, and if you're an Invincible fan, then you're a liar. Like if you watch the animateds, then you're a liar. Because they juggle multiple bad guys
All
um
the time. Dude.
each episode, and who better to handle this like the MCU? You know what I mean? I think the MCU is probably the most capable to handle it. I mean, think about Infinity War, bro. We had basically two stories happening at the same time, and Thanos is just going back and forth. You know what I mean? Like, and we had a space team and a freaking Earth team, and they were following, and then Thor was doing his own thing. So, the MCU is equipped to do stuff like this, and what better director than Destin? I understand this is his first big thing, but he's proved himself. With Shang-Chi, and he was going to do Avengers Kang Dynasty. So Kevin Feige obviously, believed in him that he had the sauce. So I don't really see
My
a
thing
problem.
is,
Yeah. Now go ahead.
my thing is like the whole man spider concept is really cool. I don't know why people are mad about it. I don't understand it. I've seen a bunch of like people just raging about it online. I really don't get it. It's super like what? Like Spider Man's turning into an actual spider and he crashes out and loses his like ever loving mind. Are you insane? And like first of all, we already know all Peter Parker does is hold back his power. So as man spider, he's not doing that. So we're gonna get to see like crash out Spider. Oh, come on, dude. That's like when we got to see Tony Stark go all out and try to kill Cap. Like as much as that scene hurt, that was insane.
I agree. I agree, bro. And that's my issue with a lot of fans. To me, it's what about Spider-Man turning into a spider doesn't make you hype? You know what I mean? And what makes you think that they're going to keep that throughout the whole in, entire movie? Like this is the common sense Dallas that I be talking about, and then bro, even on complaining about multiple bad guys, like that's who Spider-Man is. Like
Yeah.
Spider-Man is that good that he can handle 4 to 5 bad guys in a movie and still be doing his thing. So yeah, I don't. Some of these complaints are crazy, and then there's the DCU, Glazers. Like I saw this guy, he blocked the Spider-Man name. He's like, "Oh, this is just so I can see more a Supergirl," And the dude told me that like Supergirl is gonna be better than Spider-Man. It's like, bro, like just stop, bro, just stop.
It's embarrassing.
That's like me saying Wonder Man is gonna be better than the Batman too. Like, come on, bro. Like, let's be honest here. It's ridiculous. But yeah, but and even to the Dune fans, and Dallas and I are big Dune fans. We already knew that when it comes to views, this was going to wash this out the water. Like this is pretty obvious. I don't understand why you guys keep trying to push this Dune and MCU thing. This is 20 plus years of content, on screen, or 10 to 20 plus years of content versus, 2 to 3 books that are fire, and then the rest of the trilogy or the rest of the 6 books are cooked, or not the rest of 6 books, the rest of the 4.
Brian Herbert decided to pick up a pen and try to be like his dad.
Yeah. And no, he was not.
Like Brian Herbert, like for real, if you ever watch this podcast, you ought to be ashamed of yourself.
Isn't he dead?
Oh well, R.I.P.
Well, no, I don't know. I'm asking. Like, did he pass away?
I have no clue. I did not know that. I feel bad speaking on his name now, low key.
No, I don't. All right, but yeah, so but all in all, this is a great trailer. This is what I talk about when I say like we want to see good stuff in these trailers, and we got that. So yeah, I'm happy. All right, let's use chats. He is? How old is he?
He's 78.
He got to be in his 80s.
He's 78.
78. Do you think this will be a top 10 Marvel movie? 100%.
Is that? Never mind.
This will be a top 10 MCU film, 100%. If it is offering what we think, and it gives Spider-Man a big power, and we already saw the power because when the Hand was trying to, by the way, bro, them ninjas look crazy, bro. Them ninjas look insane.
They look fun.
James Gunn, if you do League of Shadows, that's your inspiration right there. And there is rumors that in the one shot when he's jumping against him, there's apparently a Daredevil is going to be in that scene, which would also be super cool if Daredevil pops up in there. But yeah, this will be a top 10 MCU film if they deliver on everything, which it seems like they are. And this will be the battery in the back going into Avengers Doomsday. But so Dallas, question: do you think that when Avengers Doomsday drops their trailer, do you think it will have more buzz than this?
I don't know. I feel like it doesn't really matter, to be honest, because like people are still gonna flock to the theaters. Like we're still not gonna be able to get tickets day of. You know what I mean? Same for this movie. We're not gonna be able to get tickets day of, dude. We're gonna have to plan this out. We're gonna have to strategize to get the best seats.
Oh no, bro! The Dallas. You must know. I've been doing this for years. I literally sit on my phone until the second the ticket's gonna sell, and then I order. So, fun fact: when Spider-Man No Way Home dropped, I accidentally ordered a row on accident.
Dang, bro!
Because I was just tapping seats bro, the app crashed.
That's insane. That's low-key sad, bro.
Yeah, the app actually crashed, and then I literally ended up spending like what was it? It might have been like it was definitely over $100, but
I might need to touch grass, bro. I'm not gonna.
I bought a row. That was crazy. I do remember that, bro. That was wild times. But yeah, man, really, really crazy. Okay, now what you've all been waiting for, okay? Invincible 1 to 3 breakdown. Okay, don't go into any details because we're going to break down each episode one by one. But Dallas, give me your overall generalized review of the first 3 episodes. How are you feeling?
Invincible is a top 5 show of all time. It's not even close. For like just consistency, depth, it doesn't get better than this. Like we are in the best era of all time because we get to witness this. Like, y'all know I'm a big anime fan. I'm a big anime fan. Y'all know I'm a big anime fan. Big Arcane fan. Actually, Arcane is still better than Invincible. But
that's crazy.
There are like 3 animes I can think of off the top of my head that rival Invincible. Invincible is just that good. It's just that good. And I feel blessed. I feel honored to be able to watch this.
I agree, man. This Invincible, these 3 episodes were peak. Honestly, way better start than last season. And I love last season, but the way that they're jumping back and forth and J.K. Simmons, who is voicing Nolan, he shined in this in these 3 episodes for me. Cecil also shined for some reason.
Yeah.
I love where Cecil is, but we'll get there. But yeah, man. By the way, Mark's mom, man,
Ooh, dime
out the
piece.
park. Okay, all right. Now she is her progression is going crazy. Okay, now let's get into to episode 1. And Dallas, basically, I want to read each detail and then we'll stop and talk about it. So, the first episode is making the world a better place, and we see Mark Grayson grappling with the tragic fallout of the Invincible War and his brutal fight with Conquest. Now, the premiere explores Mark shifting morality as he begins to believe that killing is a necessary evil to protect the world. So let's talk about that first, okay? So throughout the 3 episodes, we see that Mark is being very violent, right? He is very violent and he seems darker. And as this says, right, he obviously is trying to still heal mentally from his fight with Conquest. And we know that at the end of season 3, right, he said, anyone that hurts anybody I love, they're going to die. And we've been seeing Mark kind of crash out in these past 3 episodes. So what is your take or outlook on Mark, having his mindset of like, when I don't kill, this just gives them a reason to come back, and it always gets worse. When I kill them, I'm now stopping them from I'm stopping everything from happening.
It's really, this is a really old question, right? There's nothing new about this question. We as like a civilization have been battling this question for years, right? Like, how far do we go to punish what we see as bad? And like for Mark, Cecil mentioned it. Like, you can't even buy a drink yet. You're not even illegal age to buy a drink yet. But yet you're making moral decisions that philosophers have been grappling with for as long as we've been, recording time, I think it's very interesting that they lean so heavy on this. Like, often in the show, the themes they're not subtle because the action's so violent, but they don't just out and say it, right? Like with Omni-Man's themes, they don't just out and say what's going on underneath the surface. You do still have to think about it, but you have to interpret it through his tone, through his violence, through his action, really. With Mark, he's just up and saying it. I believe that if I kill the bad, then I'm doing better than it's better than them being able to potentially hurt again. And they're throwing so many different situations at him that like I feel like it's been inevitable since season 1. Like, it would be unreasonable for him to not face this. And I like that about Invincible. Like, it would be unreasonable for Mark to still be normal. And we've seen him progressively get worse. But at this point, after everything that he's faced, Mark should be like insane.
And crash out mode. Yeah.
Yeah, all the time. Like, he should always be on edge. And then, this is episode 1, so I can't go into anything else.
Yep.
But it's like from the trajectory, it's only going to get worse.
Yeah. Now, and it's funny because like. Yeah, you're right. All right, let's keep going. So we see a montage that shows heroes like Mark and Oliver working around the clock to rebuild cities that have been, destroyed in the previous season. By the way, Oliver, that dude is growing so quick, bro. And I actually like this older Oliver. He's not as insufferable as the kid Oliver. I'm not gonna lie. I kind of like where they're taking him. We also see that Mark does face public hatred. His appearance reminds civilians of the multiversal versions of himself that cause a lot of destruction. And we also see Invincible Inc. still going, to Mark and Eve are continuing running their private hero organization. And as I said, through Mark's internal guilt, he's been way more violent in the way that he's been handling that. Now, the major plot stuff that was going on, we see the Guardians reform. So Stedman officially reassembles the Guardians of the Globe. One of the corniest teams ever, by the way. I can't stand them. But he appoints Britt as the leader. I actually do like Britt. He's actually very cool. And of course, Robot, the dude, he loves to be the center of attention, bro. He's another one that got annoying. But he wanted to be the leader, but Cecil was like, "Yeah, you love the team. I don't trust you." And Dallas, just stop me when you want to talk.
All right, let's stop right there. First of all, Guardians, like you said, one of the worst teams ever. Okay, let's talk about let's break them down one by one. I've been wanting to do this. What's that one dude's name? Metamorpho or whatever. Super corny name. The alien from Mars. He's terrible. Why is he there? What does he do? What
he's
does he
whack.
offer? He always just gets flatlined, bro. My least favorite out of all of them. Well, not okay. I hate Robot, but my least favorite out of all of them, like, is Bulletproof. Because genuinely, what has Bulletproof done since he's been on the team? Now, tell me one feat that he's done.
Oh, wait, funny thing, right? And even when they were fighting against the aliens, right, during the alien invasion, I'm saying like, okay, he should be able to eat these, bro. He gets cooked, bro, and hides behind the car.
He gets fried, and his name is Bulletproof, but he's literally getting hit by bullets and is pinned down on top of a car in the sky. Like, bro, what is he doing, bro? And then he can't even get the device to Mark in time, so Mark has to freaking nuke the dude. Are you kidding me? Bulletproof offers nothing. Britt, I don't know anything. I don't remember anything about Britt from the other season, from the third season. I'm not gonna hold you. I don't even remember what his powers are. He is low key like kind of fire. I'm not gonna hold you.
Yeah, he's actually a really cool character.
He was tanking some people. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. Robot. Ever since he decided to clone Rex's DNA, he has been an insufferable prick, bro. And I don't.
And now his
get
name is Rex. Remember that? Remember now
yeah,
his name.
And now he changed his name to Rex.
He's
that's super. That's yo.
Yeah,
he
bro,
just stole another guy's identity. Like, and nobody's talking about that. Like, they're all just like, "Oh yeah, it's Robot." That's not normal behavior.
Yeah,
that's not normal behavior. And he's consistently making questionable decision after questionable decision while being a prick. And the only thing he cares about is Monster Girl, which also is kind of a creepy thing because isn't he a kid now? Whatever, bro. Whatever. That's neither here nor there. What's her name leaves the team? Adam Girl, or whatever her name is. I don't know what they call her. She leaves the team because she obviously can't deal with it. The big Samson, Black Samson. What has he done?
Well, he was really good in the earlier seasons, and then they just shut him out.
Like, he hasn't done anything. Like, every scene is him like, okay, guys, come on. All right, guys, we'll get there. And he's not doing anything the entire time. Did I miss anybody?
Nah, that's pretty much everybody. Yeah, they suck, bro. The Guardians suck.
Yeah, bro.
Also, the debut of the Dinosaurus glazed for no reason. By the way, it was a cool battle, but like they had to, and they do this every season where it's his character that everybody decides for, but he gets like one scene. But while responding to a call, Mark is ambushed by the Dinosaurus, a hulking T-Rex man hybrid who've used the world's destruction as a reset, and Mark almost kills him. But thank gosh that the Guardian stopped him. We also see that Eve is malfunctioning, right? Her powers during a dinner with her parents. Eve's matter manipulation begins to fall. Her constructs, like a cup of coffee, was nasty and it ended up turning into this goo. And this raised concerns about her health, which I already called what was happening. We all know she's pregnant. Like, come on. I said that when the episode ended.
Last season. Bro.
Huh?
That's episode 3, bro. You kind of skipped ahead there a little bit.
Yeah, I'm saying, like, I read the books. That's my issue. Anyways, and then we get to see Universa's arrival. So when Alien threat, Universa attacks a power plant seeking energy for her homeworld, and Mark and Eve do defeat her. But we see that Eve's powers are still like flickering, like during the fight. We also get again the Sequid infiltration. We see that the Sequids do return via Russ Livingston, who was possessed and leading an army through the sewers. And a citywide containment, field is established, and to stop the spread. Mark takes a dark turn. He decides not to wait for a non-lethal neural disruptor. He punches his head off, killing the host and the Sequids instantly. And this is a move that shocks everybody because that's not Mark. And Conquest also escapes. So this is a post-credit scene. And if you guys didn't see, right, he does survive the battle of season 3. And he awakens at the GDA bunker, breaks out, and flies into space. And that's episode 1. Any comments about that?
Bro, from what it looks like, Conquest had no effort breaking out, bro.
Huh?
Conquest did not. I know Conquest didn't sweat at all breaking out of that thing.
No. And Cecil took a lot of measures to make sure. And thank God that Mark didn't see that because he would have probably killed Cecil. I'm not even gonna lie to you.
I don't know if the Reaniman was that. I find it Cecil's. I've always liked Cecil personally. I just agree with him in a lot of that he does.
because he's a realist.
But I will say, like, Cecil's he's just getting better and better. But I am very interested to see because it looked like he came out of like a Lazarus pit kind of thing.
You saw that, right? In that pool that he was in.
Yeah. What was it?
I
Well,
I don't want to spoil it, so let's just leave it there.
Yeah.
Because
I think that was really interesting. I think they teased some things. Even Mark's dynamic is interesting. I'm not sure how I feel about it right now.
like they obviously love each other, but Mark is definitely like putting like a divide between. Well, they're both putting a divide between each other. So her powers are.
Can I be honest? Mark's voice acting has fallen very flat this season. I don't know if I know it. I don't know if it's just me thing.
I think it's on purpose though.
I hope so.
Because he definitely lacks emotion, but it seems like that's what they're trying to go for.
But he's very emotional. That's the thing. He's in a very emotional state, so it doesn't seem.
But
it seems like he'd be more volatile.
I mean, but just because, but you have to understand because he's more volatile because he's shutting off his emotions everywhere else except with Eve, and then but with everybody else, he's pretty much just trying to keep it like together.
But yeah, I think I don't know. I feel like his voice acting is just falling. Like pretty much every scene that he's in, I've just been like, especially the tender like scenes with Eve that he has. It's been like, like, I'm getting no like depth there. I'm getting nothing from it at all.
Yeah, I mean, I see what you're saying, but I feel like it's on purpose. That's my opinion.
But one of the best scenes from episode 1 was definitely Mark talking to her dad.
Yeah, he was tripping, bro.
That was fire. Because it's like, honestly, the dad wasn't wrong. Just wrong in the way that he went about it.
I mean, he wasn't wrong. But he wasn't wrong, but like, no offense, but like the Guardians weren't really like going against like heavy hitters. And then before that, he was on a teen. I remember she was on the teen team. So they weren't really like, he doesn't understand that Mark went into this thing facing like Battle Beast, bro, when he wasn't even half the power of Omni-Man yet. You know what I mean? So like, because she's with Invincible, she's going to face crazier villains. That's just how it is, Yeah. So yeah. And that's why she's going to keep, having near-death experiences. All right, now let's get into, all that's probably going to change given the fact that she's pregnant, but let's get into episode 4, season 2. I'll give you a grand tour. wait. Yeah, season 4, episode 2. Sorry, I will give you a grand tour. Now, this shifts from Earth to the cosmos, and we get to explore the deep history of the Viltrumites and Nolan's new alliance with the Coalition of Planets. So, we get to see the history of Viltrum, which was kind of disturbing. I'm not gonna lie. We see a young Nolan, the episode, and as I said, stop me when you want to talk about it a little bit deeper. We see that the episode opens centuries ago on Viltrum. A young mustacheless Nolan is shown training a young group of adolescents in the ways of extreme violence. And we see the coming of age happen. Nolan's own parents arrive to test him for adulthood by brutally beating him. And I have this photo here because his mother is scary. She ripped out her eye socket after their battle. That was kind of insane.
No. That's not what happened.
So what was that thing that she ripped out of her eye?
There was a rock stuck in her eye. She ripped out.
It was a rock. I thought it was like her eye socket that she just like ripped out.
She ripped out the rock, which was that's still just as like kind of creepy.
Yeah. And by the way, just to let you guys know, this is presented as an act of love to ensure. But his mom was very like pissed off. I'm not gonna lie, which shows where Nolan's what's the word, savagery comes from. But he seems like he's definitely more like his father, I guess, in personality. We also get to learn about the Scourge virus. Okay, just as Nolan is assigned his first mission, we see that a weaponized biological agent, the Scourge virus, is released on the planet. And what this does is it causes Viltrumites to bleed out rapidly, and billions were wiped out. And we saw the bodies. We saw the bodies, and it was very disturbing. That amount of dead bodies looked like a ship. That's how many dead bodies they had. And I also love how they were hiding Thrag's face until the end, because I low-key wanted to see Thrag's reaction during all this. Like, you know what I mean? Like, what was he stressed? Because he seemed pretty like mellow through it all. And so and you know, and Nolan did survive somehow, which is crazy. Now we're going to get to the present day. Okay, we see they arrive at the coalition. Alan arrives at the coalition of planets HQ, and upon what's up?
I want to go back to what you said. The bodies, like if you haven't seen it yet, there were so many bodies of these dead Viltrumites that they had enough to make a ring around their entire planet.
Yeah,
Like
it
a
was.
noticeable ring. Like that's insane to me. And
It
they
was.
hid this from the world. Like nobody knew. Like what? Dude, that's insane.
Yeah, yeah. Now, we get to see, Alan's girlfriend. She shoots Nolan on sight, and Nolan is naked. And then, so that was a funny scene. And then we end up meeting Thaddeus. Nolan meets him, the leader of the coalition. Nolan does reveal the dire state of the species, and we find out that there are fewer than 50 pure-blooded Viltrumites left in the universe. Now, Thaddeus was once, he reveals that he was once a Viltrumite known as the Great Betrayer, and he is the one that is responsible for killing Emperor Argo, and he triggered the events that led to the Scourge virus, which is a wild, like, reveal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And at a major twist, Thaddeus does admit to the TV cave that he actually created the Scourge virus. And Nolan is very horrified. He did yoke him up for a second and almost crashed out, but he did not do it. Now let's get to what him and Alan did. Now, the scenes were hilarious. Where like Alan and his girl kept like doing it, and for some reason the captain lied to Nolan because he thought that they were in a throuple, and so Nolan just kept hearing Alan thrashing his wife every night. I thought that was funny. But we see that they are gathering resources and allies, and so we saw them searching for the space racer, and they investigated the Ragnars, and these are creatures, and these are creatures that are capable of killing Viltrumites. We also see the return of Conquest. He's back on Viltrum, and he does beg for forgiveness, and he wanted to die, but Grand Regent Thrag spares him, and he makes it clear that failure is not tolerated, but I'm not done with you yet. And then we also see in the ending that Nolan still remains conflicted about his role in this and about the potential extinction of his race. And because Thaddeus is like, if this gets too bad, I'm gonna kill all of you. And then he's like, yeah, let me go grab my son.
Yeah.
And so and I thought Nolan was gonna come in the third episode, but he didn't. So
I mean, dude, like Nolan and Alan have great, they have great scenes together. Like the montage where they're going across the universe to try to like find things to help defeat the Viltrumites. Awesome. I will say I'm very intrigued as to how the one guy, Space Rider, survived 100 years. They don't explain that like at all. I wonder if they're going to.
yeah.
He's just locked away for 100 years and he survives somehow.
Yeah, and maybe that's his species. Maybe they could just survive,
I think it's more like I think it has to be like because Viltrumites are smart. Like he would have known that. Like he would have studied up on the species. So I think it has to be like his link to the gun.
I don't know. Something weird was going on there.
Yeah. But
now,
no, those are some of the funniest scenes in Invincible.
yeah, 100%. Now, let's get to season 4, episode 3. I got to get some air. This is the consequences of Mark's newfound brutality. It's come to a head as he faces street level villains and a major interdimensional threat. So, we see the return of the Flaxons. Okay, the most annoying group of villains. I ain't gonna lie, but there's a surprise attack, and the interdimensional Flaxons launch a massive invasion. I thought this was another moment that Nolan was going to come back again, but he didn't. Would have been hilarious. They would have been shook. And they come back on Earth, but with a new tactic. They are kidnapping thousands of civilians rather than just destroying property. The Guardians do intervene. Cecil, the Guardians, and Invincible. And now they were losing. And Robot and Monster Girl, they worked together, and they successfully freed a lot of humans, but they did not end up getting out. So they're stuck on the Flaxons planet. So I wonder what's going to happen there. Do you think that Rex and Monster Girl are going to like be the rulers of the Flaxons?
I hope not.
Like,
honestly,
what if we come back and they're
we
like,
all know. We all know Rex was not doing all that, bro. That was the one thing that pissed me off in that episode. Rex is not doing it.
Doing what?
He just hasn't done that. Like, what? He's not going single-handedly onto their planet and taking out their antenna.
Yeah, bro.
Nah, you and I both know. You and I both know. Like, be honest. I know you probably saw it coming, but be honest. Were you like, come on?
Not really. Just because Rex has like main character syndrome, so it didn't really shock me.
But do I think he'll become ruler of the factions? I don't know, probably.
Yeah.
I don't know what he's gonna do with that though. Really.
Who knows? Now, and remember, time passes by way faster over there, so he might come back a fully grown Rex, bro. So yeah.
Wait,
so
he might come back fully grown and solo Monster Girl.
Yeah. Let's hope. Because if he's trying to date that kid, bro, we'll have other problems on our hands. Okay. Yeah. We also see tensions with Titan. So while investigating the order, Mark does encounter he encounters Titan and Mr. Liu, who can still conjure up a dragon despite his age. And first it wasn't even Mark. It was technically what's his brother's name?
And he wasn't investigating.
What is his name?
Oliver.
Sorry. Yeah, Oliver. Yeah, so Oliver was actually helping at first. Oliver calls Eve because he's shook about this dragon was beating the crap out of him. Him and Mark take down the dragon, but they end up escaping. And basically, he crashes out on Titan. And Titan was kind of like Titan's kind of annoying because he just uses like Invincible to solve his problems. But I guess that's the point of Invincible Inc. But Mark crashes out on Titan because Oliver got hurt, and he comes within inches of killing him, and then Oliver, Kid Omni-Man, intervenes to stop the murder. Were you like shocked that Oliver was like crashing like that?
We gotta address that.
I didn't think he was going to crash on Titan that bad. But go ahead.
We gotta address that. Oliver's suit frustrates me to no end.
Why?
I get it that he's like, this is my suit. I fought the Invincible War too. I've earned the right to wear this, and I'm gonna make something of it. It's not about you. Like that was the selfish Oliver that sneaked through again. Because it's not about you. It's not about how you feel about wearing it. You're a superhero. You're a symbol. It's about how the people who you're supposed to be rescuing, who you're supposed to be defending, who you're supposed to be standing up for, how they feel about the symbol. And they're not ready for that. They're still healing from that. The world still is healing from Omni-Man's portrayal. So for you to just take that and be like, well, too bad, get over it. I'm wearing it now, and I'll do a better job of it anyway. That's just idiotic. And for what's her name? His mom.
Debbie.
What's her name? Debbie. For Debbie to go along with that showed a major lapse in judgment. And I'm low-key surprised that they let that slide through the script. Because that's not something she would have stood for. She would not have allowed that. Now, that is something... Huh?
Yeah, so I mean, I think the reason why it slides is because Oliver's not in the spotlight like Invincible is. And also, I mean, I don't really think it's that bad. It's a whole different color scheme. He's been wearing it for a while now. And if he's like, you got to deal with it, then hey, man, I guess you got to deal with it. But
no.
It is what
that's exactly the mindset as a hero that you shouldn't have.
Yeah, but
the entire thing is
yeah, but that's kind of the premise of this whole show right now. No one has the mindset of a hero, or at least our main characters don't at the moment. Mark, everyone's kind of tweaking right now. Now, we also see an ethical conflict going on here because Cecil and Donald do debate Mark on if he's stable. Cecil does admit he might have made the same choice to kill Russ Livingston, but he does fear Mark's unpredictable power. Now let's get back to Eve. Okay, so Eve tries to test out her powers and they're not working. Okay, and she admits to Mark that she's terrified to fly because her constructs won't hold their shape. She also, there's a really big twist here. Obviously in the final moments of the episode, She takes a pregnancy test alone in the bathroom. It comes back positive, confirming she's pregnant with Mark's child. That explains why her powers are tripping out. We all see a new alliance going on here. The episode ends with Machine Head announcing the return of Titan and Mr. Leo to the Order, signaling a unified front, probably against the Invincible, I guess. That'll be my guess. And also in the post-credit scene, Mark does wake up from a vivid nightmare, highlighting the like PTSD that he is suffering following the Viltrumite attacks. And so, yeah, man, these episodes have been insane. And I just can't wait to see what they're going to do next week.
Yeah, how many are we getting next week? 3 as well?
I think just one. Because I think it's 8 episodes, right? So they usually release like a bunch at first, and then we go 1 week, one a week, which
That's
sucks.
actually really disappointing.
But honestly, I'll be good because I have Daredevil, so I'm fine. I'll just watch that.
Because I have anime and Peaky
And I'll
Blinders.
rewatch. Yeah, and I'll rewatch One Piece live action again too. I love that show. Bro's a hater, bro. Okay,
Hater.
let's get to the next topic here about Daredevil. I want to read this review. You guys probably can't see the text, but oh well, I'm gonna just read it for you. It says this: we've seen all 8 episodes of Daredevil Born Again season 2, more brutal, bloody, and narratively sophisticated than season 1. Disturbingly timely in his examination of political corruption. Charlie Cox and Vincent D'Onofrio, oh my gosh, accidentally, have never been better as these characters. It's amazing to see Karen play a far bigger role this time around, which makes the season feel more in sync with the original 3 seasons. And Jessica Jones is back in a big way. The finale is superb and one of the best episodes of Marvel television to date. Now, I am not shocked at this review. We all knew that they were coming to cook with Daredevil Born Again season 2, but I want to talk about how Daredevil will end and what it needs to do. What Daredevil needs to do is it has to conclude the beef between Kingpin and Daredevil. And the reason why I say that is because it will get played out after this season, okay? They brought back Kingpin in a really big way. You know, he's running for office. He has power in the government. Very, very, very great way to bring him back. But the truth of the matter is that, you know, he is like, you know, what else do you do with Kingpin after this? You know, I would take him over to Spider-Man. That's what I would do personally. But if that's not the case, then, you know, rest Kingpin for right now. And Daredevil needs a new villain that he needs to go against. How do you agree with me or no?
Yeah, I think he should be in Spider-Man. Personally, I think after this, retire him from Daredevil, give Daredevil a new big villain, move him over to Spider-Man. I don't know how they're going to incorporate him. I think he'll be like a shot here and there, like give him maybe some background work, like he's working behind the scenes. But yeah, you know, give it a rest. You know, move him elsewhere.
Yeah, it would be super cool if like Tombstone is like working for like Kingpin like all along. You know, like what if like Tombstone? What if like Tombstone? What if Tombstone is like kind of the main bad guy for this movie? Like he's making a lot of things move with these small, you know, criminals you might be employing in hand. But then we find out that Kingpin is the guy that's funding everything, which then takes Vincent D'Onofrio. You said what?
It has to be Norman. I'd rather have Norman than Kingpin born strings.
You got both. You can always have both. You can always have both Kingpin and Norman, right? You have the influence of Kingpin on crime, but then Norman is like, you know, playing a bigger role with Spider-Man.
This is where DCU would then give us a Tombstone movie.
You said what?
So this is where the DCU would then give us a Tombstone movie.
Yeah, bro. They would do no, bro. They would do a Tombstone special, a Tombstone show. Oh my god, James Gunn, bro.
3 seasons.
Dude, what made me laugh is like I'm like, okay, Marvel put out this peak and James Gunn posts a picture of a freaking alien from like the Superman movie. I'm like, bro, you lost the plot, bro. I mean,
I was like, is that supposed to be like Martian Manhunter? Like, what is this supposed to be? I don't get it.
That was one of the aliens that worked in Lex Luthor's like void thing that he had. It drove this levitating boat around Lex Luthor's jail for like beings and people that he hates. So yeah, but that's where Daredevil needs to end, guys. It needs to be positioning for whoever the future evil is going to be. But you got to dump Kingpin. You know, he like it's going to get old. I 100% believe that after this season, it's going to get kind of so good. Come on, chill. It's definitely going to get kind of old. So now Next topic here. Ryan Gosling, bro. This came out right before we got on the pod today. Now, there's been a rumor swirling around for years about Ryan Gosling playing or in talks for Ghost Rider in the MCU. And now we finally have confirmed news that this has been happening. So he says this. It's a complicated situation, okay? And he did say yes, they have been in talks, but it's a complicated situation. I think the complicated situation has to be scheduling, number one, because Ryan Gosling always has movies going on, and it probably has to do with money. But here's the question that I have, or not the question. So don't you know how so Dallas, have you seen the pattern of most people that pop up in Star Wars, they end up in the MCU, or it's the same way around?
Yeah.
Like Pedro Pascal, right? He was the Mando, now he's Reed. Same thing with Emmanuel Esfandi. He was Ezra Bridger in Ahsoka. Now he's Zendaya. He's MJ's boyfriend in Spider-Man: Brand New Day. I wonder if I might be wrong, but they're usually able to pull that off. And why they pull from same actors is because like when you're signing to Disney, not Marvel Studios.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
Which is why we see RDJ doing all these commercials because he's working for that 100 mil, baby.
Yeah.
Bro, but on every cruise ship, every Disney park, they were working him to death. But he's doing everything that they ask. He's their good boy, but for 100 mil, I understand. But so question that I want to ask you: could you see Ryan Gosling as Ghost Rider?
I mean, I don't know, dude. Like, if I think of Ghost Rider, does Ryan Gosling come to mind? Not at all.
Really?
How old is Ryan Gosling?
Probably in his 40s.
Yeah, no. I'm good, bro. I'll pass. Give me somebody younger, bro. Give me somebody younger and on the come up.
I feel like
I don't think Ghost Rider is going to be that character. Huh?
Now go ahead.
Ghost Rider is not a character that you have to land, so to speak, for it to be gold. Like for whatever movie's in to be gold. It just need to be adequate.
I mean, Ghost Rider, we all know he's a one trick pony.
Ghost Rider.
I
don't know what you're talking about, bro.
You said what?
Ghost Rider's goated, bro.
No, he's a one trick pony, but it's all good. Like one trick ponies aren't bad all the time, but he is the same way Superman is. Like because Superman's also a one trick, huh?
Ghost Rider's clapping your favorite superhero, bro.
No, he's not. But Ghost Rider is a one trick pony, and that's fine. I don't think Ryan Gosling should play that role.
No.
It's not even age. I think you cast a 40-year-old, mostly because of the fact that like his head's on fire 99% of the time. So who freaking cares? But yeah, I mean I could see it, but I want if Ryan Gosling is in the MCU, dude, I want to play like Tony Stark or something, bro. Like I want to play like a very important character.
We need a younger Tony. We don't need an older one.
But
I'm all about going younger, bro. Like really,
I'm saying like that importance. Like I want to play someone that's that important, So and honestly, make him a villain. I think that would be cool too. Because with like you can take older actors and put them on spots because it's like a one-off.
They should just revamp. They should just recon Quicksilver, bring him back.
Could you see him as Nova?
No, I can see him as like what's that dude with ice powers? Bobby from X-Men.
Could you see him? Oh, like Iceman? Could you see him as Norman Osborn?
No, I think Norman's gonna have more of like a Adrian Brody kind of look.
That's the guy that played the Italian mobster, right?
Yeah.
Nah.
He would make a great Harry, honestly.
So what?
No. He actually would make a decent Norman.
No, he fits perfect in like the Batman.
He will be great.
Like he would have like if he was Falcone, bro. Oh my gosh, bro, that would have been crazy.
That's what I said, bro. Adrian Brody as Falcone
would have been peak, bro. But the guy that did play Falcone was good, but I think Brody would have gave it a way darker turn than the other guy.
Adrian Brody could have been Harvey Dent.
Nah.
He could have been a decent Harvey Dent.
Harvey Dent's a good guy.
Once he became Two-Face?
honestly, and I hate to say this, I really like the Harvey Dent from what's it called? Dark Knight. He was really good.
He was good. Yeah, he was
He was
good.
really good.
That movie
Um,
was just one of the best movies ever.
no. Okay. Maybe like bottom 100. Okay. So next topic here. Let's talk about The Batman Part 2. I know a movie that you're highly anticipating. Pattinson talked about it because obviously he's doing press work for Dune. And he says this: the script is extraordinary, and I think it's going to be a really, really, really special movie and a very, very different, even from the last one. I was reading it and I was like, wow, okay, it's very interesting and it's taking some big swings. So the question that I want to ask you, bro, is what big swings are you expecting in the Batman 2? Like, are there any things where you're like, okay, I need this to happen?
Batman needs to up his tech. He needs to up his tech. He needs to be a better fighter. He needs to I don't know. He needs to go get Catwoman back, but unfortunately, we're not getting that. Unfortunately, you know.
Yeah, Zoe Kravitz not being in this is a L. I'm not gonna lie.
Biggest L, one of the biggest L's of all time. Honestly, that was criminal. Like, how could they do that to me? I know he was out to get me. And look, we got beef. Um, we need to do something with the relationship between him and Alfred, like make it more Batman and Alfred.
Yes,
He was very angsty.
it's very cringe.
Yeah, it was like, "You're not my father." Like, shut up, bro.
It's like, yeah,
No, I practically am. Like, shut up. Eat this buttered biscuit. Um, and Batman needs to not be a step behind everybody. Because, and yeah, for Batman to make a conjugation mistake when it comes to Spanish is low key criminal. That would have never, like, dude, even early Batman wasn't really making that mistake, dude.
yeah. The
Like,
thing that a
early
lot of
Batman had the detective chops. He just didn't have the fighting. Like, he just didn't have the tech and all the fighting and all the experience. No. Batman's not making a conjugation mistake.
sometimes I hate the way you talk because you'll freeze for like 20 seconds and like I guess that's like a pause for you, and then I'll think like you're done talking and then you go right to another sentence. It's
Almost
so
that dumb.
hilarious. Maybe it's the way you write too in poems. I love you forever. It's like, bro, like just say the sentence, bro. Just stop stopping.
All right, yeah.
You're
All right,
hilarious. Okay, so I agree with everything you're saying. The Batman 2 needs a big tech upgrade, bro. That's just a fact. It needs a new suit. Everything needs to be new. And I do agree with your take. I do think that with the Batman, there has to be like a lot of people get wrong about Batman is that when he becomes Batman, he's already a master detective. You know, he's already a master martial artist. The issue with Batman in year one is really just him like understanding the world he's in. You know what I mean? And
yeah.
trying and learning like the actual mannerisms of like, okay, like this is what I need to do. Like this, how I need to, connect with Commissioner Gordon and stuff like that. He's not actually having skill issues. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
what the Batman one showed us, like, bro has skill issues. So they got to figure that out, And is it a play on like, during this time when Penguin was wild and like Batman went and trained and all this? I don't know, but he has to be better. And I hope that it's a longer time jump than like 2 weeks after Penguin, because Penguin is right after the Batman one. So I hope that we get like a 4 to 5 year time jump to where he's way more comfortable in this prime. That's what I want from a Batman. I don't want like this year two Batman. I want him in his prime. And I feel like, for some reason, a lot of directors shy away from his prime. And then if they do his prime, he looks stupid,
Yeah.
like the Dark Knight. So yeah,
Oh.
I hope that they like. I want to see peak. Like, if this is your last Batman movie, you need to go for it, and you need to give us peak Batman. And so those big swings would be crazy. What if the big swing in Batman Part 2 is Robin? I would be shocked. I would be very shocked.
They're not gonna. This is not gonna be in the new DCU. I feel like that would just be like a letdown. Like, we're gonna get this Robin and we're never gonna see him again.
No,
That's
I
what
mean,
Philly has done it.
I think it'll be dope. And I've said this for years that if they didn't do a Robin, I would crash out. But now I understand why they wouldn't, because of the Brave and the Bold. So, like, you know what I mean? Who knows? A lot of people keep saying the same thing. Robin wouldn't work in the Reeves Batman verse because of how grounded it is. Maybe that's the big swing. How would Dick Grayson work in this verse? So I think Dick Grayson could work, but he would definitely have to be a little older. Um, I don't necessarily think that he would grab a kid in this verse, but they would go like the route that we saw Val Kilmer do, where he's like low key like a young adult. You know what I mean? Like a Mark Invincible age, like that 17, 18, 19 age, which I could see work. But and let's hope that Patterson is in the gym, that he's putting in work, and that he's not just like out of, because look, he looked great, but bro, like you gotta get bigger, bro. That's why I love like how like Tom Holland like actually looks like he's fit to play Spider Man. I was not impressed with Corn Sweat size for Superman, and I was not impressed with Robert Pattinson's size for Batman. Like I do think you got to get fit for these roles, and people like Alan Rickson, Tom Holland, Chris Evans, Chris Hemsworth, they get fit for these roles. So let's hope that they're actually hopping in the gym and going ape. I don't think we're going to get his prime because of the DCU. Yeah, I'll be honest. If this movie is like 2 weeks after Penguin, the trailer has to be fired, and the trailer will have to get me interested, because I'm not going to sit here and watch the same. Well, I am, but I'm going to crash out if it's the same Batman from the first one. But I don't think Matt Reeves is that stupid. Do you think he's that stupid?
I just don't think they think of it the same way as we do.
Hmm?
I think they think of him having inexperience as adding depth to the film.
Say that again. I'm sorry.
I think then they view him having inexperience as like adding depth to the film.
Yeah.
I don't think they view it the same way we do.
I would argue that Batman was so like bad, like not the movie, but like him as a character. Loki did such a bad job that he needs an upgrade. Like the fact that he's just walking up to like the Riddler dudes with shotguns, knowing he can't take it. It's like, bro, like that's not Batman. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Batman is
Batman's
way more
an assassin.
elusive. Yeah.
Batman's an assassin.
Yeah, like he like he's elusive. He's an acrobat. Like that's who Batman is.
And like the scene, where he shows himself to everybody, and just walks into the thing to handle the bomb confrontation. To handle the bomb confrontation, and then proceeds to get blown up, and like expose him, like he puts himself in danger. Like what? What?
Yes,
when would Batman do that?
Yes, bro.
Even though I will say that scene of him confronting all the cops was so fire, bro.
Well, no, it's hard. Like, it's hard, bro. Like the movie's hard, but like we can all agree that like there's some things with Batman where you're like, yeah, this is not like Batman. Even if he's bulletproof, he's not just like remember that dark scene when they're firing the machine guns and then Batman's just taking like it's fire, yes, but that's not what Batman does. Batman's the type to be so acrobatic and elusive that he takes you out before you get a shot off.
Yeah,
and that's kind of Batman I want to see.
Brutal too.
Yeah,
Batman will put you out of commission for permanent. Like you won't die, but like you will never swing a bat again.
Yeah, but your like spine will be ruptured.
Yeah. I will say Pattinson's Batman. I was rewatching it the other day actually. So nice, bro. Like his Batman isn't nice, but his acting as Batman, like the scene, like the opening scene where he's investigating the mayor or the mayoral candidate's death. Stevie. Well, guys, it is officially myself. Welcome to the Loreverse, and welcome to Loreverse. But yeah, the scene where he's investigating the mayor's death was honestly just like, it was so good. Like he's taking pictures of his eyes, all like he's with the eye cameras that he has, and dude, insane.
Yeah, bro. I mean,
I think he did a great job. He just has good acting jobs.
I agree, but there still needs to be some type of upgrade with him, man, and that's what I need. That's what I need. and I honestly think, you can still give us Prime Batman. Tom Holland.
I'm a little disappointed.
You said what?
I'm a little disappointed. Pattinson's not going to be in the new DCU.
I agree. He would have been perfect. Perfect age. Him and Corn Sweat aren't that far apart in age either. It kind of sucks. Tom Holland wasn't comic Spider-Man fit. It's not that big deal. It is a big deal, man. If you're playing Batman, you should be fit. And I think that there's a level of like, I'm saying you gotta be burly and husky like Ben Affleck, but you should be lean and ripped. And Pattinson had a different kind of build, which I wasn't a fan of. Comic Spider-Man is way more fit than whatever Tom Holland was in the trailer. Yeah, but Tom Holland has always looked ripped, and in here it looks like he's balking a little bit. But Tom Holland looked amazing in Spider-Man. Um, all of them look good. I don't think we saw Andrew Garfield shirtless, but like even Toby would look good. Pause. Okay, now question for you, Dallas. Who is your favorite Deathstroke of all time? Okay, so we have four here. We have Deathstroke from the Arrow show, Deathstroke from Teen Titans, Deathstroke from the Titan show, the live action, and Deathstroke from Zack Snyder's movies. Which Deathstroke do you like the most?
Deathstroke from Teen Titans. Like Deathstroke from the movies from the DC animated. It's really peak.
I'm going Deathstroke from Arrow. When Deathstroke popped up in Arrow, it was so peak. The way that they set up, you gotta watch Arrow, bro, because the way that they set it up was the way that the Arrow show works is that when you see Arrow in the present day, it always goes back to the past because he was like left like alone for like 7 years, whatever, and Deathstroke basically taught him like how to fight and everything. He was one of the people that taught him a lot. And so when he comes back, he low-key did like Deathstroke wrong. So now Deathstroke's come back for revenge. And he does a lot of crazy stuff. So I would say Arrow, Deathstroke is my favorite. Okay, next one. Who wins this 2v2? So this is Martian Manhunter and Aquaman versus Anakin and Luke Skywalker. Who do you have taken the dub?
Okay, I feel like Martian Manhunter can low-key solo them.
I'm going Anakin and Luke, bro. I think Luke alone. I think Luke alone could solo them both.
Really?
Yes, bro. Luke Skywalker.
How are you gonna touch Martian?
You said what?
Doesn't Martian have like intangibility?
Yeah, but I mean, if you bring a fire around him, he becomes a wussy. So, but I think Luke Skywalker could solo them both, in my opinion. And him and Anakin are both like Luke Skywalker is trained power, Anakin's raw power. But I mean, it is a good fight because Martian Manhunter, I mean, he's powerful, and Aquaman, he's a god, so he's basically a god, so he's powerful too. So I mean, it would be a good fight, but I got Anakin and Luke taking a dub there.
It's just not a good matchup for Aquaman anyway.
and the
Unless
Force.
like,
go ahead.
Go on. No, what were you saying? The Force.
I was just saying, like in the Force. And the Force, sorry, we keep interrupting. Sorry, and the Force is so powerful that, like, he could just choke him to death, bro. And I think maybe Martian Manhunter could break out of it, but I don't think Aquaman's breaking out of that choke. And I mean, but imagine Anakin losing like at full power. Anakin and Luke, bro, they might be unbeatable, bro.
Doesn't Superman fold them?
Superman will fold him probably because the lightsaber wouldn't hurt him. And I think he would move too fast and he's too powerful that like maybe the Force can't even like handle his power, on Earth at least. Because Superman just he's OP, bro.
I would say like I don't know. I feel like athletically, Anakin and Luke aren't going to keep up.
Aren't?
They're not going to keep up like athletically, but they don't really need to.
Well, Luke does have super speed via the Force.
Oh, well, that's yeah. I don't know. I might have to switch over to your side then.
Yeah, Luke has a bunch of weird abilities because of the Force. All right, let's see. Manhunter's alone solos. I don't think so. Manhunter punched Superboy Prime and actually hurt him. That same Superboy Prime that punched Rowdy hard. It brought it out. Yeah, fact. Yo, Superboy. Did you read Hunger Almighty? I'm not sure if you're reading the current Superman run, but Superboy Prime is nuts, bro. There's a couple where he was like, he was fighting against a bunch of dark sides laggies. He's like, yeah, like I've been holding back. He was like, I'm going to kill you all now. Like he's crazy, bro. So Superboy Prime is like, wow. You really don't pay attention to the power levels. Y'all really don't pay attention to the power levels of characters in comics. The fact you guys actually believe the X-Men beats the Avengers when Thor and Hulk alone was solo. Who in here said that the X-Men beats the Avengers? Did you say that, Dallas?
Do the X-Men beat the Avengers?
I don't think
Um,
X-Men beat the Avengers.
I feel like okay. The thing about comics is that there's so many different versions of these characters. Like, isn't there a version where like Hulk stomps and shakes the whole world? Come on,
Well,
like shakes
in
the whole
in,
universe.
in the comics, the Hulk is kind of unstoppable because I mean it just depends on what you're pulling from. Because
Yeah,
you
but
know
isn't Wolverine
the
also
way the Hulk
unstoppable?
works is the angrier he gets, the stronger he gets. One of you guys said it on the pod had to be Carter because I would never say that the X-Men would beat the Avengers. Now, if Cyclops has the Phoenix Force, then there's a big chance that they might beat the Avengers. But I mean, if we're talking about the regular Avengers roster, when we go, Iron Man, Cap, whatever, I think they cooked the X-Men, bro.
Wait. Can't Jean Grey technically shut the Hulk down?
Yeah, but then there's Thor,
So that takes Hulk out.
and
Thor
then
against like
and then Tony Stark could just find a way to like shut her mind down the same way that Hawkeye did with Wanda. Remember Hawkeye took out Wanda, and she's just as powerful as Wanda's on the Avengers team, so she takes out Jean Grey.
yeah. What Avengers team though? Are we talking?
We're talking the original six with Vision, Wanda, Falcon, and yeah, with Vision and Wanda and Falcon
Oh
and
yeah, they're floating actually.
War Machine. Yeah, I mean
Vision,
any team,
Wanda,
any team with like Wanda, you're pretty much going to take the dub.
like what's I saw somebody came into my job. It was like trying to pitch me like Storm versus Wanda. Loki, I think Wanda washes Storm, but he was trying to make it seem like Storm actually like had a chance, and she is like a S tier mutant, but like Loki, I think she's gonna be washed by Wanda.
Who?
Storm.
Oh, yeah, I mean, short and powerful, but what is she doing against the God of Thunder? You know what I mean? It's kind of
Yeah.
come on, like
But yeah,
he is thunder. You know what I mean? Like that's what he is. She can just conjure it. It's two different things.
yeah.
Reddit just texted me about Project Hail Mary. He said it was the greatest movie he's seen in his life. Here we go, bro. Glaze, bro. Glaze. Okay. One you got?
What
No,
movie?
Dallas. Even the Prime versions and the 616 version are. You think 616 Hulk can? You think MCU Hulk can beat the X-Men? That's crazy, bro. Stop it. 616 Hulk swapped hands with Hyperion, the same Hyperion who survived the explosion of two universes. Nobody in the X-Men is beating that unless you have exactly. Unless you
That's
have
what I
the
think.
unless if Cyclops or someone has the Phoenix Force, they're not going to beat the Avengers. Standard Hulk solos the X-Men. Standard Thor beats the
Wait,
X-Men.
Standard Hulk can't kill Wolverine. They both like murk each other out. They both like X each other out.
Beating doesn't mean killing, though.
He doesn't really beat Wolverine though, is he? They're just gonna keep like
Wolverine
trading
can be
blood.
beat. Wolverine can be beat. Just can't be killed. The same way Sabretooth gets beat up by Wolverine, but Wolverine doesn't always kill him.
Yeah, you're right.
All right. Next question here. Who is your favorite out of these iconic characters? Okay, this is Batman, Bale, Anakin, Tobey Maguire, Spider-Man, and Harry Potter. Who is your favorite out of these iconic heroes?
Don't like Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. I can't stand Harry Potter, one of the most annoying characters ever. I don't really like the Skywalkers. I find them annoying. They're so OP. It's low-key just a cheat code. Guess I'm going with Christian Bale's Batman. I didn't really like him either.
Yeah,
Ugh,
I
that's a
think
list of all misses.
I think that Radcliffe as Harry Potter is definitely the most popular, obviously, out of all of them. Well, yeah. Because I think that Harry Potter is like the most loved brand in the world. So I would say I think Harry Potter is the most popular, but my favorite would have to be Anakin. Um, I I loved Anakin. I'll see. By the way, if you haven't noticed, I'm referring to the six was exactly, and we said that earlier. Comic Hawk cooks them, bro. Yeah, you can't beat someone where like the angrier they get, the stronger they get. I mean, come on, bro. Like you can't beat that person.
Well, I will say though, I think X-Men as a team, they just work better together than the Avengers. So like, if the X-Men were to stand a chance, which I think obviously they're X-Men, they're going to stand a chance some way somehow. They would have they may be able to dismantle the Avengers before they get a chance. Like they may be able to like work it out in a way that like I don't know. it's not going to be an easy fight because like together and like leadership wise, they're definitely going to take a few of them down, a good amount of them down,
Yeah, I
and
mean,
it's probably just going to be Hulk and Thor
you can make a
in
good
one.
case that Cyclops is arguably a better leader than Captain America. You can make that case.
Not even
Um,
arguably.
you said what?
Not even arguable. I don't think it's
What that
arguable.
Cyclops is? I mean, I think Captain America is an amazing leader, and so I think from a strategy standpoint, it will be a beautiful battle of who's going to do what. Because with the X-Men, they're practicing all day, every day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Versus with the Avengers, it's more of like a learn on the job situation. So it just all depends on who has the better day. I feel like if Cyclops, like if the X-Men were to beat the Avengers, right, it would have to be like strategy. That would be, and the strategy would be is to take out the heavy hitters first, right? And then after that, you have to dismantle the others. But like, even if you do, like, look, right, even if you take out Hulk and Thor, bro, you still got to go against Cap, Iron Man, and Iron Man, like, he's OP. like, and a lot of people just throw around, Tony Stark like he's some wussy, bro. Tony Stark is crazy, bro. Like OP power. You know what I'm saying? So, excuse me. That's also a big power level as well. So, 616 standard Thor, 616 comic standard Thor threw his hammer so hard that he staggered the Phoenix Force. No one in X Men can handle that. For the Avengers vs. X Men to be fair fight, you have to remove the Hulk and Thor. Yeah, but like, but when we are talking about fights, right? Like when I am talking about a battle between two groups, I usually don't use the once in a lifetime power things that they do. I use their standardized power. Like Thor's not like Thor's not going to crack. Like I think Thor normally has the potential to be one of the guys to head the takeout of the X-Men. And I don't even think Thor has to do anything crazy because he's a god and he's thunder. Like that's like it's hard to it's hard. You can't really win when you're fighting against a guy like that. But even thinking about the intangibles, like I said, Captain America, Iron Man, Natasha, Romanoff, Hawkeye, Spider Man. I mean, bro, that's a pretty stacked team, bro. You know what I mean? And no one's cooking Spider Man. Avengers were literally beating the X Men and Avengers versus X Men until the Phoenix Force saved them. Yes, exactly. I'm using the standard powers like I'm using the 80 years of 616 Thor's history. I hear what you're saying, but like, but
we
the
get
same,
it, bro.
but the same way that I said, right? The only way the X Men win is because of the Phoenix Force, based on Avengers versus X Men. Is the same way that I wouldn't use like, oh, the Hulk like took out the Phoenix Force, like because I go off of like base level power, And if we're talking base level power, I don't think the X-Men beat the Avengers unless if they have a crazy strat, which is kind of hard when you have like the most powerful beings, in Marvel, you know what I mean, on your team. All right, now, Dallas, I wanted to ask you this because you're an anime head. What can Marvel and DC take from anime? What can they learn from anime to be great? Like, like if Kevin Feige and James Gunn asked you, like, bro, like, what are some things that anime does that we can adapt into our cinematic universe, not the comics. I'm talking from their cinematic universe. What would you adapt, or like what would you do? What advice
Now
would
I'm
you
not
give?
saying all. Now I'm not saying all animes are like this, but most of the that I've watched have been like this. Leave the dead characters dead. I don't like my biggest gripe with comics is that the stakes never seem high because I know no matter what they're gonna find a way back. They're gonna come back. The one, uh, the one like against that was probably Black Widow, and this is an MCU. I'm talking the MCU. Black Widow, but even then, they might find a way to bring her back too. I don't know. They might. If it's not, if it wasn't for a contract dispute, they would bring her back. So leave the dead characters dead. It just adds more to the story. I'm not saying it as like a angsty kind of I love death kind of way. No, it's just it does. It adds depth. It really does. Um, Stop just killing off insignificant characters nobody really liked anyway. Kill off Captain America. Make him die. Make Iron Man die. You know. which he is, but they still brought back the actor. But honestly, knowing MCU, they could bring back Iron Man too, and they would just that is something they would do. That is something, and even in the comic, that is something they do all the time. There's always some loophole. I just don't think that adds depth to the story. I think that actually takes away from it because like, oh yeah, this character's dead now, but they're going to come back. 100% guaranteed they're going to come back because you don't want the story to end. Instead of evolving the story from there, I don't know. Talk about the descendants. Move on to the next person, the person who inherited it. What they do is they bring in a new person that inherits it, but then they bring the old person back. So now you got two stories. I'm just not a fan of that. But the great thing about anime is that Japanese culture shines through anime, and then you have manhwas, like which are Korean, and the anime and their culture shines through. Like you can tell that the way that it was made, the art style, everything from like the dialogue to like the dialogue, character interactions, even fight stuff like that. Everything is like you can. It's just seeped in their culture. I will say that like comics don't really have, and it's because comics can be so like I don't know. I guess you could say universal, but like, or you could say American culture is such a melting pot. What does that really mean? But like the only example I would say of like American ideals shining through in comics would be early Captain America comics, which were kind of, and then Superman. Other than that, I don't. I wouldn't really say, but I will say that the thing that comics does well is that they take like questions about justice, Batman, what is true justice, right? And they blow it up into this whole entire world, and it's really cool. But my biggest gripe is the deaths. I just can't stand characters that keep returning over and over.
Yeah, I mean, I obviously don't agree with that take. Because in comics we reboot, and we reboot with new stories and new ways to tell it, which I enjoy because I don't want to see I don't really want to see a continuation of the character for a long amount of time. Like it's like if and obviously this is the cinematic you, but I think that like in comics, you can reboot easier. Like, and I do think like there's certain situations where I think you could focus on legacy and it could work. So like an example, right? It's like let's say Batman dies, right? Just like in the comics. Like I think you could do a 5 year stretch of Dick Grayson as Batman. And I think that fans will like be excited about it. You know what I mean? Like I think that could work. But I think like with Iron Man, who's his legacy? Ironheart? You know what I mean? Like who does he have? You know what I mean? So
Well, that's the
and
problem. Give him
and
somebody.
but the but the way that the comics have been set is that like the best stories revolve around the to Tony Stark and whatever. So I think the dumb decision is to not kill them, obviously. If you're gonna do more stories that obviously involve them, but that's just my opinion. In regards to a cinematic universe, like I mean, we all like as I said, I don't think Iron Man should even died in that game. But but as I said, you can do the multiple character thing with Batman because you could go down the line. You know what I mean? But and even with Superman, there's multiple versions of Superman. You go Superboy Prime, you can go you could do Jonathan Kent. Like there's a lot of stuff that you could do, but not every hero sadly has that luxury of a good legacy. Iron Man being one of those people. No, and I always thought that we were going to get Iron Lad post Endgame because we were going into the multiverse saga, but they never did that. Which kind of annoyed me.
Well, with anime, there's always a new story. Like that's why animes end. You know, one of my favorite animes, My Hero Academia, just recently came to an end. I won't get any more. I'll get some spin-offs. I'll get some shows maybe. But I won't get any more of the main story anymore at all. I won't get that anymore. And it's sad. It's a little bit sad, but it's a good thing because if it's gone on too long, it just gets tiring. And I find MCU tiring. There's no new stories. There's new stories, but it's the same characters, and I don't know. Just don't really want to see them anymore. I get tired of it. You can pitch me a character a million different ways. After a while, there's going to be shades of that same character that always leak through.
Yeah,
It's just the way it is.
I mean, and that's why I think that they found a new way to do it, which I think we're going to see in live action with the absolute universe. Like I think that is one of the answers to this situation of like showing the same iteration. So I think that like what I would love to see in the future is for DC to have to run its course, give us a 20-year course, right? And then I would love for them to launch the absolute universe and build a cinematic universe around that. You know what I mean? So then
Mhm.
after 10 to 20 years, you can go back to the regular Superman and go with a bunch of new stories that you haven't done, like a DC KO or something, right? And be able to make something really cool out of it. And and I think that with Marvel in the next 20 years, I wouldn't be shocked if they go to an ultimate, type of universe where, Peter Parker gets his powers in his 30s, I wouldn't be shocked if we see something like that, where they change up the dynamic. But even Spider-Man has a legacy, right? Like he has Miles, who is one of the most popular characters of all time, but right now. Um, so it just it just depends on the character. Like I feel like some like here's the funny thing, even Falcon has a legacy. You know what I mean? It just depends on who those characters are, and whether it works or not. Like Ironheart was a stupid legacy character to focus on because she sucks. Shuri, another great character, but she shouldn't have taken on T'Challa's legacy after.
Yeah.
So
And I think Black Panther is a character that's all about legacy, really.
yeah, exactly.
And they could have done
And
better with that.
but there's a way to do Shuri, without doing what they did, if that makes sense. Because in the
Yeah.
comics, there's multiple times when him and Shuri are both the Black Panther.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? To where like we're like he's king, or like she like there's situations which I think this is what they're gonna do. Well, probably not because Shuri like hates power, but there are situations in Black Panther, like in the new Avengers comic, where she's the queen but T'Challa still has like mad power, and he's kind of like the king. You know what I mean? And they both make moves, but he handles more of like the superhero stuff, and she handles the
Yeah.
actual government. And that's what I want to see with T'Challa. Like a lot of people don't understand. I don't want Shuri to give up the suit, no, because you should have two. Like after no more, you should have two, but it should be like that, where she handles the government stuff, and then T'Challa handles the hero stuff.
Yeah.
Because you can't be a full time king and a full time Avenger. That's not possible. Someone else has to
Yeah.
take the what's the word, the burden
Command.
of governing a
Yeah.
country. So let's see. Um, Stevie, you don't get it. I am using their base powers. Yes, you're using their base powers, but I don't. But I'm saying like I don't use like the craziest things that they've done to like ensure how powerful
He
they
is
are.
saying that the crazy thing that they've done is their base. That's what he's saying. He's saying their feats are their base. That is their base. That's what he said.
It's fair. Dallas, the problem is all the anime don't exist in the same verse.
How is that a
uh,
problem?
Dallas, you keep Iron Man dead, or Dallas, you can keep Iron Man dead, but then rebooting and having a different Iron Man. Here's
So
how
it's
I view
still Iron Man.
it. Here's how I view it. Specific versions of the character should stay dead. Example: Evan's cap dies, his cap stays dead. Then Marvel reboots, and we get a new version of Steve played by a different actor.
Or maybe we
Have,
just get a different hero. Would that be like that bad? Or
they
no?
tried that; it didn't work.
Yeah. Well, they tried it with a bunch of like. Yeah, come on, Stevie.
What?
The when they ushered in all this new, and I hate to be that guy, but I'm gonna be that guy for the sake of this argument. That was not a try. That was not an attempt. That was them catering to our real world politics, leaking into the movie scene, and then trying to cater to that. That was
Well,
all that was, and
100%.
all they were trying to push
Yeah,
was
that's
this
right.
freaking narrative. This I would say this feminist narrative, and it failed miserably. Thank heavens, because I would not have liked to see Shuri or She Hulk or any of them. Because if you remember, the main Avengers team that they were pitching was like Shuri, She Hulk,
Would have been fire, bro.
Captain.
W Rage bait.
Yes, that was successful. Having multiple iterations of Batman is fun, but constant. No, it's not. It's just dumb.
Yeah, I hate Bill. If I saw Bill back, I might crash out. The whole reason why they're soft rebooting in Secret Wars is so that we can get new versions of the same characters played by new actors. Tony C. Charlie said are facts.
Dude,
Dallas,
you're not.
anime characters don't exist in the same universe, so your reasoning on one anime ending, then getting a new anime doesn't apply.
That's not at all what I said. Why? Okay, Hungry. We gotta like have a sit down conversation one day. I just don't get the way that like you're
Make your point.
connecting.
Come on.
First of all, I'm talking about. Let's just take. I could take one universe. I could take My Hero, one universe, and compare it to the MCU. My Hero. When a character's dead, they normally stay dead, and if they're brought back, it's not through some absolute mind-boggling reach like MCU does, or like I don't even have to use the MCU. I can use Marvel comics in general and just all these different stories. My Hero has all these different stories too that they could do. They just choose not to because they know how to tell a concise story, move it on, get the story done with, and move on to something different. These animators, these My Hero animators, the storytellers, they're going to move on to something different. It's time that we get new stories in Marvel, in DC, in the DC, and it's not just using the same old characters. That's a lack of that. That is a to me that is a lack of creativity. That is a lack of drive. If you're a true creator, you should get tired of doing the same thing with the same characters. There are so many other characters that are calling your name for you to make, but you're so focused on these because that's what's making the money, and I get it. But
But
that's
that's
the
what you
thing
don't
about
understand.
anime.
They're not
It's
doing
not.
the same things with the same. But that's what you're not like understanding. And like you don't really read comics, so like I guess you wouldn't know that. But like in the comics, they're not doing the same things with the same
They're
characters. Like
doing
yes,
different.
yes, the essence of the characters like say the same, but they are putting heroes in like crazy predicaments as well. And also like so something that I didn't even think about. Another big way that comics do it different than anime is like they do different times of the character. So like they focus on Superboy, like of like Clark Kent as a kid where he has Superman suit. Like there's other different types of stories that they also use. They just use the same character. And I think that with superheroes, it works because that's what it's grounded in. I think because anime isn't grounded like what comics are, you have the space to start a new story and fans would get excited. But I think that the way that superheroes is set up is like that. That's not how it's set up. So that's like an impossible ask. You know what I mean? And I mean, we could give our own opinions on if we think that's a good setup or not. Which you think is a bad setup. I don't. Which is debatable. But I think what Hungry Almighty is saying is like, well, what you're saying is impossible because what these universes are grounded in, it's grounded in the central character, but then we change the situations and we change the dynamics, kind of like Invincible, you know what I mean? And we use like a character progression, but for a comic book fan, character progression can feel like a brand new character when you just want a brand new character. And I don't think it's a lack of creativity because I think they get
I
creative,
understand.
but I think they're just operating in the bounds that have been created from the start, if that makes sense.
How many different Batmans are there?
Different
How many
Batman's,
different versions of Batman are there?
so many.
Numerous. And I think that's I'm just not a fan of that person. And we
Yeah.
can like beat around the bush like argument, but like it's just
I,
I'm just not a
I'm
fan
not
of that.
arguing. I'm
Give
not
me
arguing.
one Batman and build him up as a character and give me the progression of his life and what he does. And if you want to keep if he wants to keep using the Lazarus pit to stay young and keep reviving himself, then sure you can just keep dragging that out. But I don't need a million different versions of Batman. Like, ooh, there's Cosmic Batman. There's the Batman who laughs. There's the Batman whose parents didn't die. Oh, there's the Batman who had a brother. There's a Batman who had a sister. There's like you're just gonna keep dragging out that. Like there's so many different Batman. Okay, do something new.
Yeah, and
And
that's
for
why
all the oh sorry.
and that's why I think the absolute universe is going to turn the world upside down. But when it does become live action, because I think that we are seeing new ways of creativity with the same characters. Like for an example, like how in Absolute Superman, his main villain in the first half of his run is a souped up hawk looking freaking Ra's al Ghul. You know what I mean? So like there are places where they're making changes. It's just maybe not what you see in anime. you know. And obviously, I think it's better because I'm biased, but you know, and you don't think it's better, but I mean, but why do you think they're selling 12 million, 3 million units a month? You know, because it gave a breath of fresh air. But for a comic fan, the breath of fresh air is changing the character and his situations, not necessarily like a new character. Project Hail Mary is one of the greatest movies I've seen in my life. It's better than Interstellar. I've been shaking. So if you guys know, I had to block his number because he kept calling me during the podcast. So I think he's texting here. Um, excuse me. Um, what if Tom Holland? What if Tom Holland? Sorry. What if Tom Holland's Peter gets his powers in his 30s in the soft reboot? That would be nuts. And if he has 2 kids, that would be crazy. Dallas, the main point I'm making.
My name wrong too. I'm not gonna lie. That's
it's a DALLAS. Dallas, the main point I'm making is that in Marvel and DC, there's a multiverse with different iterations of characters. So yeah, RDJ Iron Man can die, but that doesn't mean we can't have new Tony. No, he gets that. He just thinks it's stupid. It's also easier to pump out more hits than misses that Marvel can't afford because of production time. Anime, there will be 50 different animes in 1 year, so the chances are high to have hits. And forget about the misses. Dallas, do you agree with that?
No, because certain studios don't produce that many animes in a year. So I think that could be the chance for the bigger studios, for the bigger anime studios. Some of the smaller ones, which they also drop hits as well. They drop big hits, some of them, but they're also only dropping that hit, and they're only dropping 2 seasons of that hit.
Like 2 seasons in a year?
So it's like Arcane. Like the studio that produced Arcane, I know that's not anime, but I'll just use them as an example. Riot Studios. They dropped 2 seasons of Arcane, made all the money that they made, and now they're going to use that to then fund a new season of a new show. They're not continuing the story of Arcane because they knew that that's going to reach its point. So they're going to take that win that they got, repurpose that money, and do a new show and try to keep going so they can build their studio. Now, do I think it gets to a point that maybe they'll bring Arcane back? I don't know. I hope not. But they know how to finish. They know how to tell a wrapped up story and finish it. I just don't see that. And I digress. So I keep repeating myself.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and like you both are saying the same thing. You just don't agree. He doesn't agree with you. I mean, it's the same thing. And for Dallas, if they did what you're saying, you wouldn't have Robert Pattinson as Batman. Marvel gets a couple chances per year talking about the movies. That's the difference between DC and Marvel versus anime. With anime, they will move on to new anime. With Marvel and DC, you can get another version of the same character with the story. Exactly. Yeah, all these Batmans are different, and that's what makes it work. Bale is different than from Pattinson. Pattinson is different from the Arkhamverse. Our Arkhamverse is different from the Anna miniseries. Yes, and Dallas thinks that's dumb. That's
okay. So for movies, I do think it is a little different sometimes. For the MCU, I think it's a little different because you have to bring in new actors to recast because these guys get older. They may not want to do the role anymore. All this other stuff, and it's easier to make an entire spin-off than to reboot. Especially for the DCU. They just they struggle anyway, and they often their universe often flops, so they have to try and do something new. So I kind of get it. Comics, I don't know.
Is that why you don't like Dragon Ball Z?
Can't stand Dragon Ball Z. Oh my gosh.
But is that why? Because they always.
I respect it because it was one of the big ones that brought anime to the West. That Gundam, but I can't stand it.
But is that why? Because they always come back.
They always come back. Pretty much the same thing. He finds a bigger baddie and he levels up and becomes a new form of himself, and he just keeps it's super corny. Like, if you actually watch Dragon Ball Z and are actually invested in it, that means you have the minds. Let me not insult our potential fans, but yes, I can't stand Dragon Ball Z.
You a hater. You a hater. Mappa is basically the Marvel version of anime at this point. What is Mappa?
It is, yeah. It's a studio.
Yeah,
one of the biggest.
I don't even care to know. That's what makes Dragon Ball Z fire. Exactly, bro. He's tripping, bro. Dragon Ball Z is the Mount Rushmore of anime. You peasant. Goku is the GOAT. Facts, bro. He's one of the GOATs, bro.
So they are just racing
Fortnite. You said what?
So they are
All
the
right,
greatest video
all right,
games.
yo, Hungry Almighty, Brendan, what is better, Chainsaw Man or Dragon Ball Z? I'm going Dragon Ball Z and One
You haven't
Piece live
watched
action.
Chainsaw Man. You haven't watched Chainsaw Man,
I,
so stop talking.
I'm saying One Piece live action is better than
You haven't
Chainsaw.
even watched it, so you can't compare the two.
Yes, I have watched it.
No, you haven't. Lies. And literally, the one night you were like, "Yeah, I'm gonna watch Chainsaw Man tonight." I was like, "Okay, are we watching Chainsaw Man?" You're like, "No." You fell asleep. Way behind for real.
Thought about it.
Oh man.
I thought about it. Then I had to realize I'm a real ninja. I don't watch anime. Dragon Ball Z easily. Bro likes Arcane over Dragon Ball Z. Exactly, bro. He's insane.
Arcane
Okay,
has won more awards than Arcane's won more awards than Dragon Ball Z will ever win in a lifetime. So
okay,
let's not play.
after this take, we are going to hop off because I need to do mad videos on Invincible and Spider-Man. So we got to take it down because we yo. By the way, Hunger Almighty, I need you to watch my video that I did on why Peter Parker is becoming a spider on the Lordverse channel. I want to hear your thoughts on that. But yeah, Dallas, I ain't gonna lie, you are a hater though, or you are a hater.
I'm not a hater. I just know what good.
How many
I just
episodes
know what good quality is.
Watched?
Too many.
All right, let's see. Dragon Ball Z is fire, and the story has a lot more depth than what Dallas is saying. But when Dragon Ball Super came, that's when it became a problem. Are we saying like a problem in a bad way or a good way?
Did bro just try to like casually say Dragon Ball Z has depth? You just tried to drop that in there. I thought I would.
Did you watch Frieza, bro? Come on.
That is a really bad take, and you're still spelling my name wrong.
I will.
I know you're doing it on purpose.
I will check that video out. Did you post it? Yeah, bro, I did. Just go on the Lordverse channel. My main one, it's on there. I like nerded out.
I legit watched a Dragon Ball episode where he was for like 3 minutes straight.
Talking about the power scaling with Super. Yo, I'm telling you, man. After we get this Lordverse podcast on, we are definitely going to get this anime podcast jumping soon with Brendan and Dallas.
No. I refuse to be on a podcast with that low level bum. He doesn't even understand. Brendan, you didn't
cook you through.
Oh yeah, really? Brendan, who likes once you say you like Dragon Ball Z, that just shows me where you are.
Who was the guy from our church who liked anime?
I don't know his name, but yeah, I know you're talking about. Because like you can respect Dragon Ball Z. I respect Dragon Ball Z, but that doesn't mean I have to like it and pretend that it's good because it's not. Like I respect One Piece for being able to produce absolute garbage for as long as it has and still lasts, but that doesn't mean it's good. It's still garbage.
Stevie, if you ever watch Dragon Ball Z, watch the Bruce Falconer version. I bet I will watch it eventually. All right, we're going to end the show here, guys. Thank you guys for jumping on with us today to talk about some Spider-Man, some Invincible, some Daredevil, some Ryan Gosling, Ghost Rider. Brendan, you missed that topic. Some Batman, some Dragon Ball Z. It was a great. Oh, I know way too much about anime in Dallas. Exactly. Brendan, don't worry, bro. Lordverse Anime Podcast is coming
soon. Because you're a chud who never touched grass, Brendan. I get it, bro.
Lordverse Anime Podcast coming soon. I'm not in it though. But we hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I'm probably gonna drop an Invincible episode 1 to 3 breakdown tonight, and that will go on the channel. And just to let you guys know what's going to happen. For now on, when TV shows come out, I'm going to put all of the episodes breakdowns on this channel instead of my main one, just because the main one is more about the lore, answering the questions behind the shows. This is about like all that stuff. So I'm making a breakdown that we're going to put out tomorrow morning. So hope you guys have a great day. Stay crispy and peace out, y'all.
Peace.